Hey, beautiful people. Thanks for tuning in. This is Uncut Gems with Slim, your weekly motivational push to dive deep into fulfilling your purpose, pursuing your passion, and expanding your capacity to become your best self. Yo, what's good, everybody? I hope y'all are doing great. Y'all are staying healthy, staying safe out there in this 2020 climate and pandemic and everything like that. I hope you have taken some time today to tell someone you love them, you appreciate them, or you've just taken a moment out to, pat yourself on the back and things like that. But I just want to say, what's good? If you are listening for the first time, welcome to the podcast. We are so glad to have you here and have you tuned in to Uncut Gems with Slim. Y'all, I hope this week's gem will add to you in some shape, form, or fashion. And if you are already subscribed and you tune in weekly, you already know the vibes. And I want to take a quick moment just to say thank you. Thank you for coming back for another episode of Uncut Gems with Slim. This week is going down. Last week we talked about remembering the facts about who you are and whose you are, and to refrain from allowing self-evaluation to become counterproductive. So make sure you go back and listen to episode 3, Remember the Facts, if you have not listened to it already. So let's go ahead and dive into this week's episode. So y'all, being humble, open, and transparent with y'all, the past few weeks, I ain't really been at ease. Like, I haven't had the aura of peace just floating over me, y'all. And I guess you could kind of tell in the past couple of episodes where I've been kind of sharing with you what's been going on in my life and things like that. But I just had a lot of big things going on. I have a lot of big things that I'm working on with my brand, and I am super excited about these things. But with big things and big opportunities just comes with a lot of pressure, you know what I'm saying? Pressure to perform well. And on top of all of that, I've returned to my 8 to 5, y'all. I think it's been about a month since I've returned. And for someone coming off of a nearly 5-month hiatus of quote unquote quarantine, you don't just pop back into normalcy like you ain't never missed a beat. Or at least I didn't. Like, I personally did not pop back at all to the normalcy of going to my 8 to 5. And mentally, I'm not gonna lie, it's been draining just to adjust my attention span to stay focused from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Like, my mom, she's been working her job for probably over 20 years, and I tell her all the time, I'm like, girl, I do not know how you do it. Like, I don't know how you do it. I could barely keep my attention span from 8 to 5, and I ain't even been at my job for over 2 years. But anyway, between that and just bouncing back into a rhythm that's more structured versus like my quarantine lifestyle, where I would wake up when the Lord woke me up and allowing just my creative juices to flow effortlessly day in and day out, that has definitely been a challenge for me. But this week, y'all, surprise, surprise, the kid is at ease. I got this aura of peace, this little drip. I'm walking with a different drip this week. I don't know if y'all can tell it in my voice, but I just got this sense of peace over me. And I just feel like it's because I've tapped into keeping the main thing the main thing. And I feel like one thing we have to realize that in life, the truth remains the truth despite how we feel. I feel like a lot of times we can get caught up in our emotions, and it may not be like an outward expression of emotion that we get caught up in, but it may reveal itself as like an underlying intent behind your actions. Hopefully that makes sense. But basically what I mean by this is, for example, as someone, speaking of myself, as someone who is passionate about my entrepreneurial business, oftentimes I will lose fire from my day-to-day job. I'm just being honest. And I have to remind myself the truth despite how I feel. And the truth is that my day-to-day job sustains my lifestyle. The truth is, a year ago, y'all, I literally was practically begging to have the position that I'm currently in. And at the end of the day, the truth is, my job is a job that I was hired to do. So no matter how I feel, it is what it is at the end of the day. And until I decide to change that aspect of my life, that's the truth. That's the baseline of the truth of what it is. So with that being said, what I can change about this is how I approach my job. Basically reminding myself that I'm in this season because I need to be here. There are things that I need to learn in this position. There are people that I need to serve in this position. Basically carrying the crown before I can wear one. And these are all things that I have to learn in this season before I can move forward into the next season of whatever God has for me beyond this job. And so if I was supposed to be a full-time entrepreneur right now, that's exactly what I would be. And I remember on Engage Night, which is like a weekly Zoom call with my church, Forward City Church, and PT mentioned that if you can handle it, baby, you be holding it. And by golly, that's a fact, y'all. Like, if you can handle it, like, God will have it in your hands, in your face right now, if that's what you can handle it. But clearly, he got you in a place you're in for a reason. There's things you need to learn, people you need to meet. You don't holistically know the reason why you are where you are while you're in it, but just know that you're there for a reason. And so circling back to my main point, y'all, the truth is the truth despite how we feel. So don't let your emotions steer your decisions, or don't let your emotions sway how you carry along your day or how you carry about your day. Take a moment to step back and evaluate what's true and how to progress based on that truth. So this week, God basically reminded me of how I am not the best person when it comes to receiving correction well, okay? Initially, I don't receive correction well. I am aware, I am self-aware that I do not receive correction well. Honestly, most people don't receive correction well. So when I receive correction, y'all, my face crinkles up, my eyebrow raises, and I have a little drizzle of offendedness that comes upon my shoulders, if you know what I'm saying. I just don't know about y'all, but I don't like that. I don't like that feeling. I don't like how I feel when I'm initially corrected about something. And I know I'm not all the way there, and I'm improving when it comes to being corrected. But this week I was given feedback on a specific project, y'all, which required corrective action. And when I tell you, immediately upon receiving the correction, my heart started beating a little bit faster. My face started to form a good old resting position, if you know what I'm saying. And in addition to all of that, I felt the offendedness just resting on my tense shoulders, y'all. And y'all, when I tell y'all I was ready to deliver a whole nice, nasty attitude in response to this correction, baby, I was ready to respond to the correction that I had received. But as soon as my body language started shifting into that negative posture, I stopped. I stopped in that moment, and I was like, let me stop what I'm doing. Let me mute my brain for a second. I know that's hard because my brain be like a squirrel, you know what I'm saying? But let me mute my brain for just a second and stop in the moment. And I was like, let me stop for a minute. And I said, breathe. And well, sis, that's what I did. I breathed. And after that, I was like, okay, what is the truth in the correction that I just received? Okay, so boom. So reading between the lines of my previously triggered emotions that was going on in my head, after taking a moment to breathe, I was like, what are the applicable facts and the constructive criticism? What I need to read between the lines and take away what's applicable and what's constructive. And from here, how do we progress? What is necessary for us to come to a resolution and agreement on this correctiveness that was presented. Okay, so that's where I was at. And so after taking that moment to step out of my emotion and tend to the truth of the matter, I was able to come up with an effective solution to the problem without being amped up and responding out of offendedness. And again, that's my new word. Somebody add that to Urban Dictionary, please. It's the state of becoming offended. But yes, y'all, so I guess to sum all of this up, this week's gem is to step outside of your emotions and react to the facts. Better yet, respond to the facts. So this kind of applies to last week's message as well. When you are remembering the facts of what God has done and knowing that He is more than capable of doing it again, react to that fact. If you know that He's a waymaker, react by praising Him in advance. Thank Him for what He's going to do, and don't worry. Y'all, don't let worry or offendedness be your response to the truth. Respond to the truth with expectation, because at the end of the day, the truth is going to be the truth. Y'all, that's all I got. I hope it blessed somebody. I hope y'all got something from this episode. Make sure y'all go ahead and leave me a review and a rating if you've been enjoying the podcast thus far. And until next week, if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and feel free to connect with me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Slim Reshae. That's SLIMRESHAE. Links will be listed in the show notes. And until next time, love yourself and be beautiful. Peace.